Hello everyone and welcome to Extreme DX. I'm your host Bruce. Today we're going to look at a couple of portables that you might have seen at the beach in the late 60s or early 70s. Neither are top DX performers, but both are very good performers due to the tuned RF stage inside.
Are giving them away for free with purchase. Lab-grown diamonds are very easy to detect with cold-burning power plant. America's Diamond has only offered traditional, real, natural earth-grown diamonds.
After all, it's the Christmas cash giveaway here on the Kim Commando Show, where you can also enter.
Your identity is for sale, and not just by hackers. That old fitness app that you ditched, or the health...
Benedict's wife, Lisa. She took it well. In fact, she was downright good. She said, I bought that on clearance. It's not worth anything. A few months later, Jerry was emptying the dish. Just enjoy being with them. And by the way, they will also help you all that other business. So let them do that for you, too. All of the contact info is right there. Veterans Fuel Company. That flood watch at 6 p.m. Mostly sunny, straight showers today for the afternoon, headed up to the upper 60s. Tonight showers, possible thunderstorms, low 58. Showers Monday, prettier thunder. Could see some heavy rain. We'll head up to 71. Sunny Tuesday.
He has taught me so much about God's holy word, God's love, and how the prophets and
relate and are intertwined with the coming teaching, death, and...
Competitive. Drew Butler, you're in Georgia. You're kind of close to Tallahassee.
transmitting. Yeah, I think Florida State probably just realized they're a little bit
late to the party because there's so many blue chip, huge program head coach openings right now. So where are you going to go?
With a mattress specialist. And now through Tuesday, save up to 72% on top brands and mattress firms. $189.99 for the great food you deserve. And visit Mattress Firm.
Easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details. Know exactly what you're not thinking about right now. Wiper blade. That he wants all his children to be conformed to
You can do that. Number one is you can upload a photo to ChatGPT, and you can say,
This fan for sale someplace on the internet, and will do its best job.
And there you have it. A Sony TR-6400 versus a realistic 12-675. Now some of you might have noticed that the selectivity on the Sony was much less and the selectivity on the realistic was much better. Also, you might have noticed that the sensitivity on the Sony was not as good as the realistic. We'll have just a quick look inside to show you what's inside the guts of these radios. First of all, you'll notice 3 sections in the tuning capacitor. That is the hallmark of a tuned RF receiver. It has a tuned RF stage in addition to the oscillator and antenna stage. You will also see you have the red oscillator can and the blue RF can, and you also have the standard yellow, white, and black IF coils that are standard in so many of these Japanese transistor radios. You'll also notice that the ferrite bar antenna is not 200 millimeters, so that accounts for the sensitivity difference. Now inside the Radio Shack Realistic 12-675, you'll notice I cheated a little bit. I've got a 200 millimeter ferrite bar in here, and I will tell you that the stock antenna is much shorter. It's more like 120 millimeters, but it also didn't have that much effect on the sensitivity. Yes, there's some, maybe enough to account for what you just heard, but I don't think so. Also, you'll notice that you have the same green IF coil, this time a plastic tuning capacitor, the same red oscillator coil. And then you see where somebody has taken and put whiteout over these IF transformers, but it's the same sequence of the first three. And the last one adds an additional green to the IF transformers for a total of 4. So the selectivity is entirely improved by having 4 IF transformers instead of 3. You'll also notice that I have retuned the 12-675 to go up to 1700 on the tuning. There used to be a good 1700 from Brownsville, but they switched over to sports from oldies, so I don't tune it in anymore. It's also one of those stations where they appear to crank down the output power a bit. Now, the reason why I call these beach radios is because of a curious phenomenon with the ground conductivity at Galveston. During the late 60s, early 70s, you would hear the semi-local KILT on 610 coming out of radios up and down the beach. But reception on the local 610 for some reason was really poor on the beach at Galveston. I don't know why. It's fairly close, maybe 50, 60 miles away. But reception of WNOE 1060 New Orleans, which was also top 40, was also very good at Galveston. It was equal to or better than KILT, so if you walked up and down the beach, you would hear a lot of radios tuned to WNOE. And about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, even in the middle of summer, at about 890, you'd start to hear WLS from Chicago coming in. And so it's a really good station. So a lot of people would start tuning over to WLS about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And that's curious to me because that's close to 1,000 miles away. And yet the ground conductivity in Galveston is really good and would bring it in very strongly, at least as strong as WNOE and KILT. I have yet to go down to Galveston and duplicate that measurement. I'm a little bit concerned because WLS appears to be another one of those stations that's cranked down the power quite a bit and doesn't have nearly the coverage that it used to. But that's what it was in the late 60s and early 70s. And I thought that that was a good anecdote about just how good ground conductivity is on the beach. And it's not limited to Galveston. When I lived in Daytona Beach for a year, it was actually Daytona Beach Shores, which is a barrier island next to Daytona Beach, and it's only a couple of blocks wide. My house actually had a dock for a boat on it, and the ground conductivity there was incredible, and all day long on a GE Super Radio 2, I could get all of the New York City clears, or most of them. WOR is blocked by a closer 710 in Miami. But since they were all talk, they weren't of a whole lot of interest to me. But that's just how good ground activity can be and what it can do for your reception. If anybody else has any stories about good ground conductivity, giving them incredible reception, please comment below. And if you like these videos, please click on subscribe and click the bell icon and give me a thumbs up.